Hey, everybody, welcome to the first episode of Truth Beyond. We're going to be exploring the world of UFOs and the paranormal. And with me is my partner, Josh.
What is going on, Frank? How are you, sir?
I'm well. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great.
So, today we're going to start exploring the different types of aliens.
I'm excited. Yeah.
Yeah, let's do like a balanced overview of the most commonly discussed alien types in UFO lore, the abduction reports and the channeling accounts of witness testimonies. And we know that it's not verified science. So we just treat it as modern mythology and folklore.
Yeah. We are absolutely the experts when it comes to this stuff, for sure, as you will see when it comes out. And I say that very much tongue in cheek.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the way we should approach it.
Yes, 100%.
You want to start with the most famous?
Let's start off with the most famous, which they are known as the Greys. And these, I think everybody knows of. Even if you don't know anything about UFOs and don't know that they were called the Greys, because I didn't know that, these are the ones that you see. They're in every single movie. They're the small, the 3 to 5 foot ones. They're slender. They're gray. And they've got pretty much it's the large hairless heads, huge black almond shaped, like almost lifeless eyes. And they don't really have it's minimal communication, minimal nose, mouth, ears, basically the emoji that you see on your iPhone.
Right. The traits are highly intelligent, they're emotionless, they focus on the medical, genetic experiments that everybody knows about, most common in the abduction stories. And some are described as workers or doctors. And, it's funny because everybody does know this one because of the movies, like you had mentioned, Steven Spielberg in particular, but even back in the 60s and stuff.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And like with signs, they use those, the Greys, and they're always perceived as like mysterious and supposedly highly intelligent, but I'm always like skeptical, like how do we know? How do we know that they are highly intelligent? Did we give them a math test and then they scored like a perfect 100 every time?
They must have.
It's gotta
And they're
be.
known as doctors. And I always have a problem with, okay, they abduct us, and yet they got to pull out the old silver thing to experiment with us, probing.
To probe us. Yeah.
Yes,
What's
yeah.
the reasoning behind that? If they're so advanced, why?
There's no technology just to scan. We have to probe into the anus.
Maybe they like it. Maybe they're like, we do have the technology, but kind of like doing it this way.
I know. And I also think, well, it would also be an easier way to deal with an alien probing me versus one of my relatives.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it wasn't Uncle Bob. It was
It was Uncle Bob. It was Uncle Bob,
yeah.
He always looked a little gray.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that is the Greys.
That is.
All right. So let's move on from the Greys. Let's go on to the next, which would be the infamous tall whites, which I didn't know much of until you sent me the documentary and I was watching it. Basically, these are very tall. They're 6 to 9 foot, so they're great at basketball. They're
Well,
extreme.
they are the tall whites. So
They are the
great
tall
at-
whites. So and they must.
They're great backups.
Yeah,
That's
I
what
was gonna say because they've got extremely pale white skin, so either they're European if they're good for
Right.
basketball, but yeah, large blue eyes that I guess turn pinkish with age, and they've got that white platinum hair. Basically, it sounds like one of those elves from Lord of the Rings.
They do, and in Boston, they would be known as the Larry Birds.
Exactly. The Larry Birds, the tall whites. Yeah. So where do these originally come from? This comes from was it that documentary that you sent me, Charles Hall accounts? Was that the same guy in that documentary?
He was in it, yes, but he didn't make the documentary.
No, right. But he's the
Right.
one who had the accounts, and he
Correct.
went over in specific, very minute details of everything, which is I know we've talked about this in the past, but man, I don't know if I saw one of these things, my initial reaction, I don't know if I'd be able to pick up on every single little detail.
Well, yeah, you would be so shocked. How can you process all these details when you're probably in a panic state? I would think.
I would think so too. I mean, that's one of the things that always makes me a little bit skeptical when I hear these accounts because they're so detailed. It's like, man, I have a hard time remembering things that happened to me 2 years ago, last week, that I don't know if I could be able to replicate it if I ever saw one. If one walked into this room right now, would I take on my pen and my paper and go, okay, all right. So very tall, kind of looks like Larry Bird, dribbling a basketball. Like, would I be
Not
able to-
making the threes, but
not making the threes? Yeah.
I would think you would be in a fight or flight mode, thinking, what am I going to do? Am I going to try to get the hell out of here, or am I going to try to fight my way out? Not examine and think,
Yeah.
well, what kind of interaction am I going to have with this alien?
Right. Yeah. And I guess they have like their traits are supposedly they live hundreds of years. They have fragile bones. They're plant eaters, which is wild. to
Which
me.
also, going back, did people actually see the tall whites eating?
Yeah, like
Where does that come from?
Ah,
I don't know the history behind that comment.
yeah,
I saw a tall white in my backyard nibbling on one of the trees.
homie's climbing up a tree.
Yeah.
He's eating the leaves. He's spitting out certain ones,
He doesn't like it.
He's giving an okay sign on others. So
Yeah.
he's a plant eater.
So
So we don't know. But that's the tall whites.
Then we have the mantis beings, which are, the insectoids.
Yes, and you're basically the scary ones. So the mantis beings to me always were like, I don't even know how you want to describe as something that would be scary or not, but if there is a tall 7 to 9 foot praying mantis with a triangular head, huge dark eyes, long multi-jointed arms, legs. I mean, I don't even know if
They have the insectoid features. People freak out when they see little insects, never mind something that big.
I mean, I like if I see a spider, I just naturally tend to be like, yo, whoa, a spider. If I saw something 9 feet, dude, I don't know. I would freak out.
And the traits, too, are reported as being overseers or bosses on the ships with the Greys. So they kind of run the thing. They're highly intelligent, telepathic, sometimes judgmental or spiritual. And you think, does that really jive with the way they look?
I mean, it's pretty crazy. Like, if they're judgmental, who are they judging? If they are partners or they're bosses with the Greys, are they judging the Greys? Are they judging us? What makes them so judgmental? Like, are bugs naturally judgmental?
Right.
Like, what's going on with that?
Well, they said that they're overseers. So in the abductions, are they overseeing these experiments on us?
Yeah, that's interesting. They could be like, yes, probe that one. Don't probe that
Probe
one.
a little deeper.
That one didn't watch.
Slower. Slower. Look me in the eyes.
Spiritual.
All 6 of them. Right? So-
Right. So yeah, those are the mantis beings, and then let's go into one of my favorites, which is the reptilians,
oh, the ones that are tall, muscular.
the lizard people.
Yeah, the humanoid reptiles. That's what they are. They have scales, vertical slit pupils, and sometimes reported of having tails. They can appear as shapeshifters. Something I don't know about you, but I would not want to come across.
No, neither would I. And what always fascinated with me about these is the fact that they're supposedly high in like the political agenda. They have control. They can oversee things. And to me, that just seems wild. Like if you got a political figure that is supposedly a shapeshifter, but really a lizard, it kind of explains a lot, to be honest, of what's going on. But it's wild to me to even consider that to be an actual possibility of what's going on.
Well, yeah, they're portrayed as being aggressive or parasitic. And you think about the world today and the way worlds and politics and politicians are with each other. How are these things controlling the people from the different countries? That's what I wonder.
who knows? But parasitic, I mean, kind of makes sense. So maybe there's some actual, not so verified, but kind of verified science behind that. So those are the reptilians, the lizard people. Why don't you take on the next one?
The Nordics. The Nordics are the good ones.
Yeah.
Very humid, fair skin, blonde hair, very attractive athletic. So we know that this is not the Larry Bird.
No, definitely not Larry Bird. Maybe Larry Bird's wife, who I have no idea how she looks. I'm just saying that right now. Sorry, Larry Bird's wife.
Lisa Bird.
Lisa Bird. But yeah, so yeah, very human looking and attractive. Blonde hair, blue-green eyes, and
Benevolent, spiritual, focused on humanity's evolution, environment, peace.
These are
angelic, really.
Right. These are the ones who are like going to give you sage advice and give you a hug and tell you, hey, everything's going to be okay.
Tuck you in at night.
Yeah, I know.
No probes.
I was going to say that you're going to say, I know you've been probed before. That's not what I'm here to do.
I'm here to just give you a little,
little hug.
Little slap and tickle.
That's it. That's all. Just a little bit.
Just a little one.
Yeah, so that would be the Nordics.
The Nordics, yeah. The Nordics are the kind you would want to meet.
Yes, 100%.
Because then you could have a conversation.
Absolutely.
While getting a little tickle.
Yeah.
It's a win-win.
Tell me about what's going on with this crazy world while also making me feel good.
Put me to bed and have nice dreams, unlike the Greys.
Unlike the Greys, for sure.
What about the last one, the energy entities? These seem to have popped up recently.
Very much so.
I didn't know anything about these. And
same.
They've been on the news a lot lately. Why don't you talk about that?
Yeah, so basically what these are like glowing orbs. So light forms, translucent energy, orbs of supposedly like consciousness, no fixed physical body, which seem to come up a lot on social media. People are taking videos with their phones and they say, hey, I see a glowing orb. And originally, like, hey, they thought this might have been something interdimensional, where, hey, maybe it's somebody coming from the past or something in that.
And I've also heard reports too of, near-death experiences in some cases.
Yep.
People are reporting that.
It's something that they're about to go on to the other side, and all of a sudden they see this glowing orb. And it's not Uncle Bob, but it's a glowing orb. And
glowing Bob?
Glowing Bob. Could be glowing Bob.
Could be.
After he probed you, maybe he's glowing.
He's glowing. He's had a wonderful night with you.
Yeah.
He didn't even have to buy you dinner.
You're shocked and you carry it around with you for the rest of your miserable life.
Taking a cold shower while Uncle Bob is just sitting in his chair drinking a whiskey, smiling.
Smoking a cigar.
I think we need to rename this episode Uncle Bob.
Might be. But yeah, so those are the energy entities, and really they've been popping up a lot, and they don't know if they're alien types, but as there's more like evolution from people reporting on these, they're saying, hey, maybe they are. Maybe these are actual other alien types instead of maybe somebody visiting from beyond.
Hey, Josh, why don't we take a side step here and take these beings and describe them as an analogy of human emotion?
That's actually really like a fascinating way to look at them.
Yeah. So if we take these beings and they're treated not as literal extraterrestrials, but as archetypes of the human psyche, they begin to resemble different aspects of human emotions and consciousness, similar to how myths, dreams, and religious symbols express our inner experiences.
Yeah, let's do that, because I think the bigger that we dive into this, we might start to understand things a little bit deeper.
All right, so let's start with the Greys. Let's go in the same order.
Okay. All right.
So the human emotion, the psychological analogy would be, in my mind, the detachment and logic from reports that we've heard about them.
Yep, which makes sense. So if it's attachment and logic, so these are kind of mixed with how their interactions are. So if they're useful in crisis but cold, it actually brings up a really good point, because when I was thinking about Signs in that movie, the lead character, who was a priest and he believed in God, and then he's like after everything that happened with him, he stopped and he became very detached and very logical about everything. And the scene that always sticks out to me is when he asks, "Hey, are you a miracle man?" to I believe it's his brother. "You're a miracle man, or are you are you someone who just doesn't believe in any of that?" And his brother's like, "Yeah, I'm a miracle man." And then he says, "No, there's no one that's looking out for us." He's very detached. He's very logic driven about that. And then what shows up? The Greys, they show up. So to me, I mean, that's just honestly a great description, the depiction of what somebody might be feeling if they're detached and they feel hopeless.
Yeah, they suppress their feelings, which he was doing.
Yeah.
Prioritize efficiency over connection.
Yeah.
Useful in crisis, but cold when it dominates.
Yep.
Correct?
Yeah. 100%. And I mean, we tend to kind of do all of that when we're detached and don't want to experience anything.
Well, that makes sense when they're experimenting from
Right.
the abductions.
Yeah, that's true.
What about the tall whites?
So that's interesting. So let's think about the tall whites for a second. So if we had to put a human emotion or an analogy for how they are psychologically,
I would think authority, boundaries.
right? Because they're almost cold, but they're almost cautious and self-preserved. So really,
So if you take that as an analogy, the mature part of us, maintains a distance until trust is earned.
100%. So it's like,
which is normal in everyday life.
I mean, if you're walking down the street and all of a sudden you see somebody and they approach you, there's going to be some self-preservation. There's going to be some cautiousness of like, hey, is this person a friend or are they a foe? Until
Even at
trust
work,
is earned.
you have a boss.
Yeah.
You just start working.
Yep.
You don't know.
You
if
don't.
they're out for themselves. There's no trust there.
You've got to.
They have to earn that as well as you.
Through experience,
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. So that makes sense for tall whites.
Okay. What about the old beautiful mantis beings?
Well, so they say that it might
How
be
they're overseers and this and that.
Right.
With the Greys. Well, then how are you going to take that analogy?
Maybe if they're judging, but they're overseers, that they have deeper perspective. There's wisdom there. There's something where they can step outside immediate emotion, which, man, I mean, sometimes I was just thinking about it the other day. Sometimes I let my emotions control my decisions, and it's always a reminder at almost 40 years of age to stop doing that. And for me, like, hey, like I don't want to make an immediate emotional reaction for this. To me, if there's a mantis being and their perspective and they're wise, maybe they see the larger pattern of life, which is a good reminder to do that for myself instead of just emotionally reacting.
Right. It also can feel unsettling because wisdom often requires transformation.
Yeah, it does.
Right.
And a lot of unsettling is the truth, because I mean, just think about it. If you have to transform, that means you got to feel uncomfortable.
Right. So then you ask yourself, what lesson is hidden here? You know how you talked about your emotion got the best of you earlier.
Right. Yep.
So you think of those things.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you have, which is always fun to talk about the reptilians. They're just a fun.
I have a blast. I love them, to be honest.
So you think what? Then the analogy would be fear and survival.
For them, 100%, because they are like these domineering authority figures that control everything. And basically they're controlling everything out of fear. So that's how, if they're controlling everything out of fear, that's how their elements are for survival.
Right. So have you ever had something in your life that you feared so much that it just froze you?
Yeah. I mean, I can think of many different things.
Why don't you give us an example?
I want to give you a good example. I want to give you a funny example, but for me, my initial reaction is thinking about getting married. Because it was like, all right, I'm really going to commit to one person for the rest of my life. This could also be funny too, by the way. But there was a lot of fear because you kind of, you're very willing to open yourself up to complete rejection.
Which is funny that you said that, because I was so excited to do this podcast, and when I came here, I'm walking in with all my equipment and stuff, and I walk in and I see you in the room just with a big smile on your pants, and then I was like, why is he smiling? And then I looked down and saw that you had your pants down to your ankles, and
And what did you feel?
fear,
Fear?
complete fear.
Yeah, I wasn't one of
I
the
got complete fear that I was in the wrong place.
I wasn't a Nordic. I wasn't giving you the soft.
You weren't. No. So I slowly backed away. That was the only thing I could think of.
He did. It's true. I was
I
disappointed.
closed the door. I opened it up again.
Complete rejection.
Complete rejection. And you thought you were glad you were married.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so really with that, I mean,
It's funny you say that, though, in all seriousness. I had told my wife, speaking of fear and family, I have a son, he's older. And then when my young son was born, I had an extreme fear, thinking, how can I love this second one as much as the first one? Because my first one is just my everything. And I was so scared that I wouldn't have that love to match, which is ridiculous in hindsight, because as soon as I saw him, it went away. And it was just as much. But when you love something that much, I had an extreme fear that I wouldn't be able to match that love a second time.
It's 100%. I just went through the same thing. Exactly.
Did you?
The same
You really
thing.
thought that?
Yeah, I was so scared.
It goes
to
away in 2
It
seconds.
does.
though.
As soon as you have the kid, it's like, oh my God, this makes so much sense. Like, just makes so much
It's
sense.
just- yeah.
But I had that, and I was so afraid just to have another kid because I didn't want to mess up the good, like what I had with the first kid.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's not like that
It's
at all, by the way,
unconditional, and
people.
it's not. people.
Yeah.
And if it is, then you really need to question yourself.
Yeah, you do.
Ask Larry Bird. He's one of
Yeah.
the tall whites. And
All right. So that's the reptilians. That's fear. That's survival.
that's survival.
Yeah.
You know, and it's something that's necessary. Sometimes you need fear. Fear is a good thing. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just what you do with it.
It's that saying that fear is a signal, right? So what are you going to do to it? How are you going to react to it? It's a signal. It's telling you something. What is it telling you, and how are you going to react to it? And we all need to learn that. What are we going to do?
Sure do. And then we have that in one end of the spectrum, and the other end of the spectrum, then we have the Nordics, right? So then that human emotion or analogy would be, I would think, hope and idealism,
Yeah.
right? That part of us that strives towards the higher values, courage, nobility, integrity, belief that humanity can be better, which in this day and age, we need a lot of.
You said it, man. If everybody, imagine a world, I'm going to sound like the Beatles here. Imagine a world where,
All you need is love.
I mean, it sounds so cliched, but what if we always were striving to be a person of integrity and trying to be better every single day? I feel like there's a corny saying, but if we lift each other up, no one can tear us down. And if we all were trying to lift each other up, then we wouldn't be concerned about other people trying to tear each other down, which goes to fear, by the way. We do that because we're afraid.
Sure.
But yeah, what a beautiful way to try to live life. Really.
So yeah, and that stuff is what makes this whole conversation interesting, because it really does describe our psyche, these different alien types.
Yeah, just think about it. We're talking about all these different human emotions that we feel as human beings, and they are exactly what these beings are portraying. They're, whether it be the Greys, whether it be the Nordics, whether it be the tall whites, it's all these different things that we feel all the time.
100%. And then you have the energy entities.
Yeah. So what do you think the energy entities, what do you think that's telling us? What do you think human emotion that is?
I would say intuition, transcendence.
Yeah, especially transcendence and intuition. Yeah. Because if it's mysterious, it's almost like an inner voice. It's that spiritual awe feeling
Sure,
of like
inspiration.
yeah, connecting with something. And connecting,
which is beyond the ego. So
right.
it's a spiritual connection,
Yeah.
which
And
is why it's funny how it's associated with near-death experiences all the time too.
right, because when you're supposedly having a near-death experience, which I've had in the past,
You have?
yeah, so
You've had a near-death experience?
it's it's a funny story. It's not even that really of a funny story, but to me, a near-death experience, this is the closest I've had to a near-death experience, and it isn't really one because I'm like, now it sounds like I had a big one. But my brother, sister, and I uh, just got our licenses, like collectively, because we're all around the same age. And my brother was driving home, and we are leaving our grandmother's house, and traffic came out of nowhere. Like it literally just came out of nowhere because somebody like 100 cars in front of us like stopped, and their car spun. So we had to stop, and my brother stopped, but he wasn't able to stop, and there were cars right in front of him. And so at the last second, he turned his car, and we literally went on the side of like almost down off an embankment. And through my head, I was like, "Oh my God, we're gonna die! Like this is wild."
It's funny when you have that moment and you think, I'm going to die. Do you know what moment I always have that?
Wait, what's that?
When I'm in an airplane and there's turbulence.
Oh.
Every single time. I think to myself, is this how I'm going to die?
This is it. This is
Am
how
I
it's
going to
gonna
pass
happen?
out because it's diving down and you lose consciousness? And that's all she wrote.
Have you ever had turbulence where it was so bad where you were like, "Oh my God, like are they what are they going to do?" Like your
Yeah.
heart is
And
dropping.
everybody on the plane looks around in fear at each other.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
The funny thing is that happened to me one time, and I was on a plane with my buddy Sean, and I was like, we dropped. Like, you know that feeling where you drop?
Yeah.
It happened
And
3
your
times in a
stomach's in
row.
your throat.
And I was like, oh my God. And I looked over at my buddy Sean, and he had his hands in the air like he was on a roller coaster, and just looked over at me, and he went like that. And I was like, bro, that is wild that you're acting like that right now.
It's
made me laugh.
so wild, and coincidentally, he also was doing that while his pants were down to his ankles.
Yes, they were. And that's why he was raising his hand above his legs. He wanted everybody to see.
He did, and the gray happened to be right behind him too at that moment.
It was like, hey, we're good. We're not going to go too gentle, but we're going to start the probe
We're going to get
right
a little
now.
rough with you.
Yeah.
Sean. Wave those arms. Distract yourself because this is going to be a while.
Exactly.
But yeah, I thought, with the energy entities, the transcendence, stuff like that.
Yeah, especially when it comes to everything that's going on, especially with social media. A lot of people need to feel connected to something, and I think that's where they're popping up a lot. So let's put a bow on this, Frank, because we went over a lot, right? We went over everything when it comes to what they are, what they've been reported as, all these different beings. And then we touched on something pretty heavy, which was how they relate to human emotions, which to me, I'm always curious to see how these beings always rise up through different stories over time, through different folklore, through myths. Why do you think that is?
Well, perhaps these modern UFO myths endure because they give faces to experiences humans have always struggled to describe. Fear, love, reason, instinct, transcendence, and the tension between them. In that sense, the question may not be which beings are visiting Earth, but rather which beings visit your mind and which ones do you allow to guide your choices?